Welcome everybody to our March Tell the Noni Story, quickly becoming a famous event. So we're so excited to have everybody on with us. We have invited the RX members from the Australia team as well. So if we do have any of the RX members from Australia on with us, welcome. We're excited to have you learn about Tahitian Noni Juice and all of the products and stories that we have to tell tonight. We've got 3 great stories that are going to come up. Sami-san's all ready to help us understand why all those things, amazing things are happening. And without further ado, let us get started. Wendy, can I pass it over to you if you're there? Did you want to? And I'll bring up the slide if you don't mind. Is Wendy there?
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, we have Happy Steve from Singapore. She's Nyo Weekend. She has a lot of Weekend, yeah, here, right?
Yes.
Okay. So she has been with Morinda since the day one. We started in Singapore. So she has a lot of great experience about Noni products. I think today she is going to share the story of one of her friends. Okay, let's us have Weekend.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. Well, year 2001. That was, wow, 20 years ago. You are on mute. Okay, can you hear me now? Hi, everyone. Okay, I joined Morinda since beginning of 2000. So that should be 21 years ago. And it was on Valentine's Day. So I have 5 Valentines with me during that period. Okay. Yes, as what Wendy have mentioned, I have quite a number of friends have used the products and get good result. And today I would like to share that was a case in 2016. My friends was suddenly diagnosed with high result of white blood cells, as you have seen on the screen. Okay, it shoot up very high. And during that period, well, I believe it will be such a panic situation will happen to anybody when you are being told that likely to have leukemia. So I visited my friends. It's a he. I visited my friend in the hospital, and the very first encouragement for him is I brought a bottle of original Tahitian Noni Juice, and I asked him to drink the whole bottle within a day. Of course, in a hospital, it's quite a challenge. So he has to drink it secretly without letting the nurses aware of it. So after a few days, I think on the 4th August, I have gave him a bottle. I think maybe 3 days, was it in the report, the next page? 3 days later, the marker have dropped. Yeah, so on the 7th of August, 2016, the marker from 144 to 57.77. That was after the first bottle of juice. Subsequently, another, I think one day later, I think on the 8th of August, maybe just, yeah, 8th of August, it went out to 1593. And subsequently, I think there's another one. Can you just, is there another slide? Yeah, on the 9th, it went to 810. But 810 was, 8.10 was, I gave him a bottle of Max. So in total, he has drunk about, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4 bottles. So the marker went down dramatically from 144 to 8.1. 8.1, the doctor was saying that it's kind of suddenly go too low. So my friends have been, during that period, went in and out for checkup. He managed to discharge from the hospital. Of course, with a lot of stress from both hospitals and family members and himself. He went through blood marrow transplant. Subsequently, he stopped using the juice because he listened to the doctor that in order not to bring complication to his body. So anyway, I trust that our juice, Tahitian Noni Juice, is a very good product, especially for emergency cases. So even within a day, drink a bottle or two is okay. My strong belief. Because why? My mom in year two my mom in year 2011, he got pancreas cancer, and he went for operation. For 1 whole month, he can't consume solid food, so she was on a drip. And after discharge, she need to go through chemotherapy for about 8 months. Now, every session of the chemo, after the chemo, I gave her a bottle of juice, and she drank a bottle of juice every time after the chemo, and there isn't any side effect at all. Especially from people who gone through chemo, you know that you get a lot of side effect. And my mom didn't have. Though now she's gone. At least for using the juice, I will say juice helped to prolong her life for another extra 4 more years. So it is kind of bonus, especially if we heard about people who got pancreas cancer, because pancreas cancer can be very dramatic, and people will not last for more than 1 year. Yeah. So for my mom case, she went for a huge operation that removed 4 portions of her organs. Of course, the pancreas, then portion of the liver, and then I can't remember the big intestine, and one of the organ I can't remember is which one, because hers was quite complicated. But fortunately, after using the juice, and I'm very confident, if friends who are open-minded and willing to experience and have a quality of life, especially after having such disease, cancer, and I think we will help them to have a better quality of life during the last period of their life. It can be years, right? Like for my mom case, it's extend another 4 more years. I think it's a very good quality life for her, where she, during the last 4 years, she still her mobility is okay, is able to do her own marketing, etc. And yeah, that's what I like to share with all of you here. Yep.
Thank you. Isami-san, did you want to add someone to that?
Yes, and that's amazing. It's also TNGA and Max is very helpful to keep the QOL, quality of life. And today I'd like to share the could you give me a access?
Yeah.
To show that. Okay, good. So today I'd like to introduce some article and scientific journals. This is a PubMed. PubMed is a database of the research papers. It's only most of the papers are peer reviews, so it's reviewed by the professionals. And if you add Morinda here and to search it, you can find now 780 results. Then let me introduce leukemia paper. Leukemia paper. Leukemia paper. And this is actually there are 6 research papers. And let me put here, this is actually leaf, but because of this Amadi group is researching especially for the leaf. And they reported that more industrial Horier leaf, but it's even the fruits is very beneficial. Noni is very helpful for anti-inflammation. Then also and anti-angiogenesis. Angiogenesis is to make up blood vessels. Cancer is very hungry cells. They need many nutrients, so they make their own blood vessels so that they eat the nutrients, and that is noni actually inhibits angiogenesis and apoptosis, and so that's the reason why it's really beneficial for the cancer. Let me see here. The reason why noni is good is here. You can see here. Cancer cell doesn't have a break. They grows and cannot stop it. Usually the normal cell can stop the growth, but cancer doesn't have break. So the break is called the capsase 3 and 8. So I add here capsase 3 here. Let me find another paper whose capsase 3 more in the paper. There are 14 results. And let me introduce another cancer research paper that is very interesting to me. Let me find that. This one. Oh, so this is the one, another same one. Let me see. Okay, this is very interesting paper because noni compared to the erlotinib, this is very strong anti-cancer drug. So compared to noni, you can see the results here. The 300 mg extract was more effective than erlotinib, that is a anti-cancer. And this is actually, this not only noni, I really recommend you to take not only noni, but also this research papers recommend to take omega-3 fatty acid. So using this omega-3 fatty acid, noni is pretty effective for the cancer. So this is about cancer research paper. So you can see, go to the PubMed and find Morinder and capsase 3 or Morinder or leukemia. So you can see the detail of this research paper. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Asami-san. I'll get you to take your screen share down. Thank you. And we will just gonna change some of the settings on here, guys. Asami-san, I'm just having trouble getting the spotlight off.
Oh, so what? Do I
Off your.
do something?
No, I don't.
Let me
Yeah.
stop my video first. It didn't help.
Yeah, it's okay. Hang on. Let me try doing it online. Hang on. Sorry, guys. We're just trying to change the spotlight off. Okay. Let's see. Here we go. Jill, I'm just gonna get you. No, you're stuck, Zoe-san. And we're
Okay, spotlight to Jill, right? So I can add to Jill here.
see if you can add Jill. And then see if you can take Neo off. Maybe it's because you're on a host now. Maybe
Okay, I'm yeah.
Okay.
So take a spotlight. So now Jill is spotlight.
As Jill. Okay, so I need to be host again, Asami-san. You need to give me back my host.
Okay, okay.
Sorry, Joey, won't be a second.
Wow. I think you're a host. No?
No, you're hosting. For some reason, it's got you as a host.
So let me see. But actually I can share. Now you can share the screen, right?
I unmute myself. Are you right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, and we can hear you, Jill. It's just that I need to be able to share. Oh, here we go. I might be able to share your screen now. Just a second.
Yeah.
Here we go. Just a sec. Just get up to Jill's slide. Here we go. Thanks. Oops. There we go.
Came and we went.
Yeah. All right. Thanks. Sorry, Jill. It's so next up we've got Jill from Australia, and Jill's been with Marinda, Tahitian Noni, New Age, Noni by New Age for a long time. And we're so grateful to have her on. She's so passionate about Tahitian Noni Juice and many of our other products. She's got some great stories to share with us today. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Jill. Thank you for coming on this evening.
No worries. Okay. We started taking Tahitian Noni in 2001. I had been diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis. I had psoriasis when I was only 22. And then when we had our third daughter, who's the daughter on the screen, Demi, she's our youngest one, she's got cystic fibrosis. And I was 36 when I had her. 2 years later, I was diagnosed with having psoriatic arthritis, because psoriatic arthritis goes hand in hand with stress. And Demi was a very stressful birth and baby. So our story started, and I went to a rheumatologist, and he put me on very strong anti-inflammatory medication, which I was on for about 18 months and felt it had no effect, or very little help. So I knew that there was very bad side effects to those types of medications. So I weaned myself off of it, much to his dislike. And I kept looking for other alternatives. And it wasn't till 2001, which is about 6 years later, that just by chance, Tahitian Noni came into our lives. And a gentleman told us all about it, and his wife, who was a nurse, said how they had benefited. So I started taking it. Luckily, my husband, who's also a nurse, he's a registered nurse, he happened to be home that day, because he would have been very skeptical if he hadn't heard this gentleman tell me all about it. So he spoke to both of us for about 4 hours that day. And as a result, I started taking the Noni Juice, and my arthritis was really bad at that stage. I was having lots of trouble, lots of getting out of bed in the morning. I couldn't get moving, and until I sort of got the toxins out of my system and got moving, I was in a lot of pain. Anyway, I took, on the gentleman's advice, I took a super dose, which is it was considered a bottle a week then. So and within a few days, I was starting to feel a lot better. Well, we started reading about it. My husband was still very skeptical, but we started reading about it, and we read how it could help bronchiectasis. Our youngest daughter had been diagnosed, she was only 10 years old then, but she'd been diagnosed with bronchiectasis in her CT scan the year before. So I tried to encourage her to take it, and then it wasn't until she saw my improvement, she said, yeah, I'll give it a go. And that's when we really noticed the difference. She just, her cough, she was always coughing at night, her cough cleared, and she started to gain weight. So we got quite excited about all that. I won't tell you the rest of that story, because it's a very long story. It goes for another quite a bit. Well, there's lots to it, but she actually cleared bronchiectasis in a CT scan the year after, which we were told is the first time that was in Adelaide in South Australia. It's the first time at the Children's Hospital that had anybody clear of bronchiectasis. So anyway, as a result, my husband started taking it, and he had always been, he'd always had hay fever issues, and had always had to take antibiotics for hay fever. For the last 20 years, he hasn't had to take any antibiotics for hay fever. And then as we progressed, Demi Demi's got the most common gene of cystic fibrosis, and that's really important because there's lots of other mutations now. So her doctor was really, you know, quite, they would never say that, they would never give the Noni Juice the credit for it, but at the same time, when she transferred from the Children's Hospital to the adult ward, which was 6 years later, his parting words to us were, just keep doing what you're doing. And we thought, well, that's the best we're ever going to get out of anybody in the medical profession. But just I'll rewind, because the year that Demi cleared of bronchiectasis, that was 2001. We actually won a trip to Tahiti purely by chance. It wasn't a reward. We'd only just joined as distributors, but we went off to Tahiti, and the one thing that really stuck in my mind, the doctors were all telling us it was all a coincidence, you know, it can't be the Noni Juice. We got over to Tahiti, and when we were going on a drive around the island, Moorea we stayed on, the guide said to us, where can we take you? What do you want to see? I said, I just want to see a noni fruit. I just want to see one. So he pulled straight over, and we knew it was quite unpalatable. I picked it up and smelt it and said, oh, yuck, you know, this smells horrible. And I said, do you eat this? And he said, my grandmother makes me juice it down through my t-shirt when I'm sick and drink the juice. And I said to my husband and the other couple that were with us that just happened to chance the trip with us, and there's a long story to that one, that's why I needed to come to Tahiti. I mean, I'm quite convinced that everything happens in life for a reason, and I'm quite convinced that Demi, yeah, Noni was meant to come into our life. So anyway, from that, as far as I'm concerned with my rheumatoid factor, I kept going to the rheumatologist once I was on the Noni Juice. Once I knew I'd had benefit, I kept going for about another 6 years, I think, just for an annual review. And then in 2017, I asked the specialist, I said, look, you know, I kept mentioning Noni every time I went because I wasn't having anything else at that stage. I was controlling. I mean, Noni will never cure anything, but it helped control the inflammation and the pain. Without a doubt, it helped that. So I said to him in 2017, do I need to keep on coming? He said, well, no, if you're controlling it okay, then yeah, no, you're right. And I haven't been back to him, and I don't need to. I've found that as I'm 65 now, as I'm getting older, and if I don't do the right things with my diet, if I eat the wrong foods and arthritis and off my stress levels go up, then my arthritis can flare up again. And I just take extra doses. And I've also found that the CBD products have helped me a lot in the last, I've been taking them, I've used them for about 18 months now, but I use them quite a bit to start off with, because it was at a time, it was August in 2019, I started using them. And I just put them on every now and then. I've managed to control everything quite well, even though I'm getting older. I'm trying to think what else I can tell you as far as, I think one thing I would like to say that my father took Tahitian Noni for 14 years. As soon as Demi had improvement, and he just believed in it, and he went into a nursing home when he was 92. My mum was 88. My mum was the main. My dad had macular degeneration, so he was losing his eyesight. He was a very active man when he was younger, but as he aged, the last 10 years of his life, his eyesight really did affect his mobility, which also affected everything else in his life. And he went into the nursing home on nothing but Tahitian Noni and eye medication. He had macular degeneration, but my mum had never taken it. She tasted it, but she just Dad really believed in it. So she said, no, I don't need it. I've got a healthy diet. I don't need it. But my mum had a very bad back condition because she'd fallen off a horse when she was much younger and hurt her back and had other issues. Anyway, my dad passed away unexpectedly to some degree when he was 92 in the nursing home. I won't go into that, but a month after he passed away, my mum was diagnosed with polycythemia, which is blood cancer. So she was started on a cytotoxic drug, a very well-known cytotoxic drug, which can't be handled. You're not allowed to handle it. You've got to have gloves on to handle it. And her hemoglobin had been over 200 and about 208, I think it was. Anyway, we should normally be within a range of about 120 to 145, I think, or it might be a bit less than 120. So anyway, when she was on the hydria, she was, no, the cytotoxic drug, it brought her down to 170, but they started giving her venesections as well because she'd plateaued. So that's when we were taking her down to have venesections, which is taking blood off to help thin the blood. And we suggested to Mum, how about trying Noni? Because it is a blood thinner and we're doing a lot of kilometres here because we lived in the country. How about trying it? So she did, and within 10 days, her blood results came down to completely normal. And that was 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, coming up, I think. And she's now 92. She's on her strong medications for her back pain. Her back won't ever improve, I don't think. But she copes really well, and she's been quite amazing. And again, the medical profession don't give us a lot of feedback as to whether, but I'm pretty sure they're impressed, even though they wouldn't say too much. You know, they say there's no proof, but I mean, Mum has blood tests every 2 weeks, so there's been heaps of proof, and they know. I've had to really struggle at one stage to get us to have help to get Mum to have the Noni, because she was getting she's got early onset dementia, but she didn't like it. She didn't like people knowing. Too many people were opinionated about it. So it's back in her fridge again, and she's averaging probably 100 mils a day, sometimes 50, 100. I've got them in the little tiny Noni collagen bottles that somebody else was taking the Noni collagen, and they gave me, I've got 100 little bottles that I rotate and take them up to the nursing home. So, and there's one other thing that I really want to mention, and it's a young girl who was in her late 20s, a woman, and she had cystic fibrosis, and she heard about our daughter. She was in a different state in Australia, but she heard about our daughter. And she started taking the Noni juice. And when she started taking it, she started coughing up all these black plugs. And she said she was really well. She said, I feel great, but I'm coughing up all these black plugs. And we got on to a doctor over in America, Dr. Richard Williams, and he said she'll keep coughing them up for another 3 months. He said that's all the toxins from the antibiotics, because she'd been on antibiotics virtually all her life for cystic fibrosis. And she rang me up one day and she said, I can't believe it. It's virtually 3 months to the day, and I've stopped coughing up the black plug. So it seemed spot on. And it's like, we're just so grateful that Tahitian Noni's come into our life. So I can talk for hours and hours and hours. I can tell you so many stories, but Sarah knows. But yeah, I won't. I'll stop.
Oh,
It's really hard, but I'll stop.
Guys, Jill is so passionate about Tahitian Noni Juice and the products and the results, and she's been through a lot in her life with her family and some of the health issues that have gone on, and she's just so passionate about it, Jill. And I know,
and Noni's also given me a big headache at times too, because it's really hard. I'm listening to these people talking about, you know, the fact that it's on the TV, and people, I've gone through so much of that. It's been so frustrating to have actually gone to Tahiti and to understand how this product is made, and, you know, it's state of the art factory. Yeah. But when we were in Tahiti, we bought one in the markets, and it was absolutely revolting. It was a local product that had been made, and it was horrible. So, you know, just yeah. I'll let you go.
It's okay. I'm going to pass it over to Asami-san. So let's see if we can get Asami-san back with us. Let's see if I can find. There we go. So Asami-san, I'm going to add you as a spotlight. And
Thank you, Jill.
That's all right. You're most welcome.
I love listening to your story. I love listening to your story not because of TNJ, Tahitian Noni Juice is great, but also any Noni story tells how much people love the families and friends and relatives. So Noni Juice is not sold in the supermarket. Noni Juice has to be like a first delivered to somebody who take care. So listening to all the stories, I found the greatness of Noni, but also the greatness of the human relationships. I really love your story. Thank you, Joe. Let me, because you share the story, many conditions like cystic fibrosis and polycythemia and arthritis and psoriasis and hay fevers and dementias. And most of the conditions, the mechanism, the reason is not known. It's not really why that conditions happens to us. But most of the conditions came from the inflammation. So let me introduce a paper about inflammations. Let me put here. Okay, sorry. Let me go back to my oh, maybe wrong one. Well, sorry. Here. No. Sorry. Cannot find my browser.
You're okay, Sami-san. Sorry.
One moment. Let me open my browser first. Well,
Jill, we're getting so much feedback. You know, everyone's like so excited about your story. Thank you for sharing.
I'm impressed, and I think that my browser impressed as well. Okay, so you can see my web page here, PubMed. So I searched Morinda, this academic name of the noni, and Morinda sterifoliae, and inflammation. Then you can see 48 results. There are many, actually, quite a few research papers shows noni is good for inflammations. So this is the latest one. Is published October 2020 by, I think this is Hawaiian noni. But let me introduce Hawaiian noni part. Hawaiian noni and Tahitian noni is pretty super good. It's better than Asian noni because the nutrient is rich and also soil is rich. And actually Tahiti is better because Tahiti has a strong sunlight. UV, ultraviolet, makes noni is more phytonutrient rich noni. So this research paper tells a mechanism how noni inhibits inflammations. Let me open the research paper here. Okay, this is the actual chemical that inhibits inflammations. And this, so they're too scientific. And this is the data, how noni inhibits the inflammations. But this, let me introduce one diagram here. Okay, this is a diagram, figure 7, open yes, separate window. So, oops. So can you see the bigger image? No? I don't know.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Okay. So that is a different window. So let me see this one here. Okay, this is a molecular mechanism, how noni inhibits. LPS is a lipopolysaccharide. This is one of the chemical that the microbe has. Then also is very toxic, LPS. Then LPS causes inflammations and makes many inflammatory chemicals here, COX-2, IL-6, and TNF alphas. But noni can inhibit very first part. It inhibits IKK complex. So using that technology, we have noni juice is very good for the conditions, diseases like such as cancers and arthritis, but also it's good for the skin conditions because the skin is makes a wrinkle and it's aged caused by inflammation. So we have a noni products not only for the health but also skin. So that technology we apply to the Temana products. So Temana is a big good anti-inflammatory skincare product. So in principle, noni is good for your skin, noni is good for arthritis, noni is good for the inflammation diseases. The principle is pretty same. So this is how noni inhibits inflammation. That's the reason why it improves your health. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sami-san. Sami-san, do you want to introduce your next speaker from your market?
Yes, I'd like to introduce Hayakawa-san here. Okay, let me. So could you, Hayakawa-san, mute.
はい。こんばんは。
So Hayakawa-san speak in Japanese, so I will be a translator,
Thank
interpret.
イサミさん、Tell Your Story にご参加の皆様、こんばんは。
Hello, everyone.
私は、日本のノニの守り人、早川房代と申します。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
I am, my name is Hayakawa Fusayo, and I am a guardian of Noni.
私は、肝臓がんだったのですが、がんが
I had the liver cancer.
ノニジュースを飲んで、がんが3個あったんですが、1個もなくなりました。
I had 3 cancers in the liver, but after drinking noni juice, all the cancer is gone.
ずいぶん前ですが、29歳の時に、出産時に大出血を起こして輸血を受けました。
And when I bear the baby, delivered the baby, I had blood transfusion so that the virus was infected there that time.
その後、とても元気だったのですが、40歳の頃から、肝機能 GPT が高くなりました。
I was healthy for a while, but after like 40 years old, my liver's function getting worse.
そのために、50代からインターフェロン治療を3回受けました。
Then I started the treatment of interferon treatment 3 times.
40代から大量の薬を飲みました。
And from 40 years old, I took many drugs.
ドクターからは、インターフェロンを受けていれば、肝臓がんにだけはならないよと言っていただいていました。
And doctor told me, if you take interferon, your liver cannot be the cancer, cannot bear the tumors.
ですが、59歳の時、肝臓にがんが3個あると告知されました。
However, when I was 59 years old, there are 3 cancers was found.
とても落ち込んでいた時に、60歳の時にノニが伝わりました。会社の上司から教えていただきました。
I was so disappointed, but when I was 60 years old, my boss told me the noni.
グループの方々が東京から私住んでいる栃木県まで2時間もかけて何度も皆さんが私を励ましに来てくれました。
So my group came to my house. It took about 2 hours on one way, but they came pretty often to encourage me, cheer me up.
ノニジュースを飲んでだんだん体力がついてきたのが自分で実感できるようになりました。
After drinking noni juice, I feel more energetic.
ドクターは私のがんは3個あって治療がちょっと難しいというか高度先進医療も受けることができない何もできないと言われていました。
The sweet cancers, a doctor told me, sweet cancer is untouchable. It's so difficult to treat and so difficult to do another treatment.
私はノニジュースの資料を見せて、私にはノニがあるから大丈夫と先生にお話をしました。
Then I told my doctor that I have a noni juice, so I will be okay.
たくさん薬を飲んだんですが、一番高いお薬が、1万円ぐらいするんですけど、それは何ですか、成分は何ですかと聞きましたら、アミノ酸だと言われました。
The most expensive drug I took was one was amino acid. It's the cost about $100.
ノニジュースの成分を見せて、これで足りないアミノ酸がありますかと聞きました。
Then I showed the doctor that noni has amino acids. So I asked the doctor that amino acid is enough.
20種類全部入っていると、から足りないものはないと言われましたので、お薬をなくしてくださいとお願いしました。
Then doctor told me that noni juice, Tahitian noni juice has all 20 amino acids. So that should be enough. Then Hayakawa-san asked, how about stopping my drug?
60、その後、2年経って、私の肝臓がんが一つ見えなくなりました。
Then 2 years after, one of three, my tumor disappeared.
3ヶ月後、残りの2個も見えなくなって、私の体からがんがなくなりました。
And 3 months after, other two disappeared. So all my tumors are gone from my body.
ドクターは驚いて、ニノだっけノニだっけと言いました。
And doctor was very surprised and he told, is that Nino or is it Noni?
その後、血液検査だけはしていたのですが、GOT、GPT は高いままでした。
And the blood, I have blood check and GOT and GPT, this liver function is still high. It's very bad.
そして64歳の時、血液検査で腫瘍マーカーが高くなりました。
Then when I was 64 years old, the tumor marker, cancer marker, tumor marker is high again.
発病から5年なので、再発したのかなと思って、ペット検査を受けることになりました。
Then 5 years after, then it may be recurrence. So I had a I have a clinical check, cancer check again by using the PET.
ペット検査の結果、私の体のどこにもがんを疑わせる腫瘍はないと分かりました。
And by using a PET check, there's no cancer. So 5 years after, I don't have any cancers.
それからとっても元気で、毎日、1万歩ぐらいとか散歩を楽しんでいたのですが、先日ちょっと腰痛が起きまして、ノニジュースを飲み始めてから初めて、受診をして血液検査を受けました。
And then I became very healthy. Then I love walking. So every day I took about 10,000 steps. But a few days ago, I had a back pain. Then I went to the hospital. Then the same time, I checked the blood check. I had a blood check.
そして血液検査を受けたのですが、その結果、GOT、GPT が正常値に近くなるまで改善していることが分かりました。
And I'm very surprised because our liver function, GOT and GPT, became the normal values and scores.
腰はすごく痛かったですけど、血液検査の結果、もうお医者さんには全然行ってませんので、もうすごく嬉しかったです。
For a long time, I didn't go to hospital, but I had a back pain, but it's so happy because the blood test is very healthy.
私がこうして元気でいられるのは、グループの皆さんがずっと 応援してくださって今があると思っています。本当に
I'm
感謝してます。
I'm very thankful of my body as a healthy life, and also I'm very thankful of my groups that taking care of me.
私もノニの守り人として私の体験をお話ししながら、困っている方の手助けができたらとても嬉しいです。
So I was protected by Noni. So next time I want to protect somebody by using Noni. So I'd be happy if I can share the story. Then that story helps people.
終わります。
Thank you very much.
ありがとうございました。
Yeah, let me share the her blood check. I mean blood scores. She sent one moment again.
We need some of the one moment hold music, Asami-san.
My computer doesn't work because I didn't show the share button.
Oh,
Oh, here you go.
you right?
All right, here you go. Okay, this is a 2005 AST-LT and 203 and 159. Then this is a 2013, then 80 to 53. It's become very healthy now. Then now it's almost normal condition right now. So she's very happy to all the cancer's gone and liver function is pretty well now. All right, cancer. Let me see. So PubMed again. There are many actually Noni cancer story. And actually, if you can see Molinder and cancer, you can see my screen, right? Okay. So there actually there are many research papers regarding cancers, 94 results. So I'd like to introduce, there are actually many. One of my favorite one is very old one. Hirasumi paper. This is how Noni works. Jarke Jensen was a researcher in Molinder, and also Anne Hirasumi is also research. He used to be a researcher in Molinder, and Furusawa is the teacher of the Anne Hirasumi. And they try to make it. Anne Hirasumi, when she was young and is a child, she had a sick dog. Her dog has a cancer. Then some neighbor advised her to give the noni because she's living in Hawaii. Then after feeding noni, that dog became very healthy. So tumor is gone. So Anne Hirasumi was very glad, and that experience was when she was very child. But when she go to the university and she went to the University of Hawaii, then had a research on the noni, and she transplant the tumor to the mouse, and all the mouse is gone, it's died. But however, when she feed noni, and the survival rate is very high. So this is a very early study, and this is a 2003 study. But this research paper tells noni is good for the cancer, but also noni is the liquid part is the PPT precipitate part is good for cancer. What is a precipitate? When you pour the TNJ Tahitian Noni Juice, you can see the precipitate in the bottle of the glass, right? That's a PPT. So most of the noni juice, maybe there are many noni juice in Hong Kong, right? Most of the noni juice doesn't have PPT. Tahitian Noni Juice is very unique product because it contains PPT, precipitate, that is good for cancer. And the anhylasmi prove that noni is good for cancer because it enhances immune system. So for the detail, you want to learn more, you can go to PubMed and you can find the Morinda, cancer, and Hirazumi. You can see that this research paper. It's very interesting paper. Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sami-san. Alrighty, guys. Well, what another fantastic evening. We appreciate everybody that joined us. We had actually, you know what, even to the last minute, like right now, we just had a new person join in on our call. So we are excited. We should be back with us again first Wednesday of next month, right? We're going to be here, same place, same time. Sami-san, are you locking us in? We just need 3 more stories, right? So
Yes.
tonight, let's get 3 more stories for our next webinar and next Zoom event and the first Wednesday of April. All right, guys. Well, thank you, Asami-san. Thank you to our speakers tonight. We appreciate the stories that you've shared with us. We appreciate your time. I hope you have all a safe and relaxing evening. Wednesday night's hump day. We only got 2 more days. We got the weekend. So take care, and thank you again for coming onto our webinar tonight. Have a great night. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thank
Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sarah.
thanks,
Thank you,
Amita.
Sami.
谢谢。